Hey everyone, I'm going to give you a quick tour of some of my favorite philodendrons in my collection. So stay right here, kick back, and like and subscribe, and enjoy the show. Okay, so first up is my Philodendron Florida Ghost. So I've got two of these. Basically, this is the I took a top cutting of this plant a couple of months ago, and so this is that new top cutting, and it is definitely well established. It's got some beautiful leaves on it. The leaves come out on this plant, they come out really bright yellow or almost white. I've had some when I had this plant under a grow light that were actually white. Okay. Yep, just starting one. All right. Yes, so, this is my original plant, and you can see I have it on a pole, but I wanted to do something that was not using a moss pole that I would require a whole lot of maintenance and all that kind of stuff, and I wasn't trying to set up something that I would have to be worried about it drying out. I do water this, but it has actually rooted into the leca. And I forgot to mention that I have this growing this pole filled with leca and a wick cord. And so it's operating in a semi-hydro environment. So it's just growing in this little pot here. I've got some wick cords in there and then a reservoir it sits in. And the pole is knotted at the bottom of the pot so it won't come out. It's secure in there. And to my surprise, the plant has rooted into the leca and continues to do that. I can get close. You can see that there are roots growing down into the leca and getting down into the water reservoir and getting moisture from the wick cord. So this is one of my favorites, and I'm excited to see how large I can get the leaves growing in this leca on this pole. So this is definitely an experiment, and yeah, it's interesting. But this is the latest leaf. It just unfurled, and you can see how much lighter it is from the other leaf. But if you see this one down here, this leaf, when it unfurled, when I had this plant under a grow light, it was completely white, and it is still much lighter in color than the rest of the leaves. It it minted out some, but it did not get any darker green, and it's an older leaf. So I've had this plant for um months. I got it originally at the grocery store at like Publix. Um and yeah, I've enjoyed growing it and propagating it. So it's one of my favorites. And as you can see, while the leaves are great, it's got this great color changing thing going on. And I'm just excited to see how much larger I can get this plant to grow. So this is the first one. I will queue up the next plant and I'll be right back. And next on my list is my Philodendron Florida Beauty. I did a 7.5 month update on this plant that I just posted, I think yesterday or day before yesterday. But just going through my Philodendron Florida variants, this is definitely one of my favorites. So um, I got this plant as a tiny little starter. It was, I think, a tissue culture variant. When it came in, it had two stems, and since that's happened, all of the flower or the leaves on the one stem have remained green, and the second stem has been highly variegated. So it's thrown off some beautiful leaves. And I propagated it um, about I won't even I propagated it, and so now the plant has started growing new growth, and the newest leaves are about to start emerging from their caterpillars on both of these stems. So I'm pretty excited to see what the next leaves look like. And I switched it into leca. Well, it's been in leca for a while, but I up potted it and I added a coco coir pole, and so now the new growth has started to actually attach to the pole. I don't know if you can see that. There's some aerial roots there and they're starting to attach to that pole. So I'm looking for the leaves to size up as it starts climbing. It's in one of my kind of homemade self-wicking pots. It's got leca in this tall 7 by 7 by 9 inch pot. And then I got this bottom part from IKEA, and it acts as a clear reservoir for this pot setup. I got a empty one here. So the two parts fit together perfectly and it's held in place by compression. And so I get to see, and I also use a wicking cord. So I drop two wicking cords down through the holes in the bottom of the pot, and then they descend into the reservoir. I can fill it from the top. And what I do a lot of times with these plants that I have in this setup is that I will submerge the entire thing into like a bucket and just give it a nutrient bath for about 10 minutes. And then I pull it out, switch out the nutrients, and it's all good. It's been a surprisingly successful setup for me. And I've transitioned a lot of my plants to this kind of self wicking setup. But here's my Florida Beauty. I've got six cuttings that are in various stages of growth from this plant. So I'm pretty excited to see what the future holds. I want this plant to get larger, and I got some extensions for this coco coir pole. So it's got plenty of space, and I'm just looking forward to the future with this plant. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Um, this is my Florida Beauty. So next on my tour of my Florida variants is my Philodendron Florida Bronze, and I freaking love this plant also. I clearly have a thing for these Florida variants. I pretty much have all of them. I heard there's a new Florida Green Albo, which is different from a Florida Beauty, so I'm on the hunt for that. But this right now is my Florida uh, Bronze. So it's a beautiful plant. It's got these really dark burgundy petioles and these really bronzy green leaves that are a lot more bronze when they open up, when they unfurl. It's got a new caterpillar here, and it looks like there's just a little hint of a new leaf showing. I had it out on the porch, and it was over behind my tomatoes, and the tomatoes have dried up and are no more. And so it was getting too much light. So a couple of the leaves got burned, but I moved it and it's already put out. This is the latest leaf. So it's recovering. It'll get taller. It's a climber. It's already attached itself to this coco coir pole because I up potted this about a month or so ago. And so it's already put on two new leaves since it's been in this larger pot with the pole. And again, it's already connected itself to the pole. So I'm really excited about this one getting larger and climbing up this pole. And I, wanting to see what the leaves look like on this particular one. All the other Florida variants, the leaves are pretty much the same, but this one has a different leaf shape outside of the color. So I'm interested to see this plant get larger. So yeah, this is next on my list, and stay tuned to see what's coming up next. I wanted to throw this guy in because it is a derivative of a Florida, but it's not exactly just a Florida hybrid. It is a hybrid, but it's a cross between a Florida Beauty and a Philodendron Tortum. So you got this amazing variegation that you get from a Florida Beauty with this really narrow fenestrated leaf that you get from a Tortum. So the leaf is wider than a Tortum, but narrower than a Florida Beauty. But you still get that amazing variegation from the Florida Beauty. And this one is spectacular. I've had this plant for 2 months. I got it as a single leaf cutting, a top cutting with a cataphil. And so it's basically put out a leaf a month since I've had it. And there is a new cataphil that's straightened out and should hopefully be putting out a new leaf soon. I have had to up pot this plant several times, the latest being recently. I did a 2 month um, update on this plant. Okay, so last on my tour of my Florida variants is the original, my Florida Green. And this thing is a beast. So I couldn't get it on the table, and I'm only moving it because I'm probably going to repot it because it's almost fall. And I've been growing it outside on my front porch over in the corner. And so I'm going to have to bring it inside. I've already had to extend this pole. Um, what twice, but yeah, here is my Florida Green. This thing is massive. Um, and it has just grown around here. Let's see. I don't want to damage any roots. Let me move it with the pot. But look at this plant. It's huge. It's got some spiders on it that I don't think are spider mites, but actual spiders. But yeah, this thing is fantastic, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Um, I've had this plant about a year, and when I got it, it was about this tall. And so all of this growth has happened. And since it's been outside, I don't know if you can see, but the petioles have gotten significantly redder. And since it's attached to the cocoa core pole, so I've got a tall corner in my house that this is going to go in for the winter. And I'm kind of excited to watch it continue to grow. At some point, I will probably have to crop it, propagate it, take it off one of these poles. But it is on one, two, three, four. There are four cocoa core poles, and there was an original little pole that it came with. So I attached some attachments to that original pole. So it's got one, two, three extensions and the original. And it's getting hot out here. So yeah, this is my Florida Green in all its glory. And it is just massive. And yeah, so this has been this is my Florida Green. So yeah, tell me what you think. Isn't it grand? I love this plant. Love it, love it, love it. It's just fantastic. But it's going to have some serious um, debugging before I bring it inside for the winter. But yeah, this plant is lovely. And it gives me inspiration to think what my Florida Beauty could look like, and the Florida Ghost for it to get so tall. The leaves have remained relatively small on this plant, which is fine with me. I like it crawling, and I don't want the hassle of having to keep moss pole wet. So the cocoa core pole is a great option, and the plant seems to attach to it readily. So it's worked out great. So that's it for my Florida collection. And I'll be doing some more videos like this, highlighting some of the other plants that I have in my collection. So stay tuned, like and subscribe. Thanks. So I just wanted to give you a little couple of more close-ups on this plant. It's fantastic. And this is kind of the bare spot where it's up against the column on the front porch. But look at those leaves and those really red petioles. This plant is fantastic. I have a wicking cord that wraps the poles. I'm not really sure how successful that's been. I know that the wick cord was working to some extent because it started to get a little algae on it. But yeah, this plant is gorgeous. That's my Florida green. My Florida green.